Welcome to the Vision Gap Show. Align your big idea and vision with a plan of action to resonate and stand out in your market. With your hosts, Andy Halko and Tony Zayas.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Today, we're going to continue the conversation about developing winning strategy, and really we're going to talk today about competition. So, Andy, what is your favorite starting point when you're looking to analyze for clients their competition?
Yeah, I really do start out with like a very simple comparison grid, right? I think when we've looked at competitors and you're either jumping into positioning where you want to determine how are we unique from others in the marketplace, you're looking at website design and you're trying to have messaging and emphasize things. And even when I've worked with clients on product roadmaps to look at feature development, obviously having a very clear understanding of your competitors and the features that they have that you have is that way that you can quickly even identify gaps in the market, right? So I think that simple like comparison grid that looks at here are all our competitors, and then here are a bunch of factors that are important, whether that's, again, brand, customer experience, onboarding, feature set, whatever it might be, just having that visibility is really powerful.
Something that I think is important to consider is when you're looking at competitive landscape, the different target audiences that are really being focused on, because a lot of times there will be competitors who have slightly different targets, so their messaging is all different. That means the key features are going to be a little bit different. So I think it's important to take that into account as you dive in.
That's why it's sometimes good to create multiple of these that, you know, we've done a lot of times groupings where it's direct competitors, alternatives, which could include someone from a software perspective building their own product or hiring somebody internally. Or there's, you know, lookalikes that look like it but aren't exactly. And so sometimes even in competitor analysis, it's not just about what is your direct competitors or what is the overall group. It's about what are these pillars of types of competition that may be an alternative to our offering, but not necessarily someone we'd see that we fight in a sales experience.
And other things to consider, obviously you want to look at like price, trends, all that kind of stuff. What else do you think is really important to analyze?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends what your outcome is, right? Again, I talked about how I feel like competitor analysis is important for a wide range of things. If you're doing positioning and brand messaging, if you're doing website design, obviously understanding, you know, their tone of voice, their design and how they're portrayed. Marketing, what channels are they using? Product roadmap and development, what features do other people have or are strong at, and where are their gaps in the marketplace? And so I think when you think about competitor analysis, it isn't just one thing and it's not for one thing. It is a foundational piece that influences all of it. And so you not only look at that comparison, but doing that analysis where you're looking at design and analyzing, you know, what is their look and feel? How does that influence market? What is the tone of voice that they have, especially in web, or getting even into technical features? If you're looking at trying to compete from an SEO perspective, that's all about, are you producing better than your competitors? And so really understanding the technical aspects. And even getting into what tools are they using, that gives you a sense of what should we be doing if they're using HubSpot or they're using Google Ads or, you know, Outbrain or any of these different tools. It's important to understand that because it might be something that you're missing an opportunity that they have, or at least to know tactically what they're doing.
The last point, I know we want to dive in and talk about how, because there's a lot to this. And Frictionless allows people a pretty simple way to accomplish that. So we're going to show that in a second. But one other thing I just wanted to add on to this is I'm a big fan of using like custom reviews and things like that. And AI, as we're going to show, our AI tool allows you to kind of compile, take those reviews and find out what are the common sentiments that people are saying, pros and cons for your competitors. And that gives you things to work with and areas, opportunities to address. So with that, did you want to pop Frictionless up and walk through the competitor section?
Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit, because I think, we've discussed kind of the importance of it, but what we really also want to look at is how do we do it? And the old way was, for me and for our company, spreadsheets, right? I mean, for years it was about these spreadsheets and different things, and that was kind of one of the driving forces of developing in Frictionless was, how do we make this easier, right? And so having the ability to come in here and quickly rate and rank competitors, and you can do that in ratings, you can do that in kind of toggles, you can even use text, whatever that might be, but you can start to see where a good visualization of it, where it's clear of like red, yellow, green. Now we're starting to see, okay, are there gaps, even just at this high level, quick view, are there gaps? And especially comparing ourselves to others, where might we be stronger that we can leverage that? And doing this as a team so that everybody in the organization can be part of determining these factors or doing the research on them, but then having this as a single source of truth allows that product team to come in here and think from their perspective, the marketing team to come in and look at it from their perspective, or whatever it might be. And so I think, again, that comparison grid is just a really nice high level view, makes it really easy to get started. And so I think that's kind of that foundational piece. And then obviously being able to like go in and really understand an individual competitor at any point, or even just looking at something like user management. I want to see, okay, well, for white labeling, let's talk about like who has what. And if we create notes, we can really around each of these have a detailed description of, well, exactly what do they offer in white labeling. And again, looking for gaps or opportunities in the marketplace.
And you can build out and add more of these factors that are being ranked and
and that's
too.
One of the great things that we tried to do with Frictionless was help people get there, right? We don't, not every company does competitor research on a regular basis. And so, providing this list of, okay, we want to understand size of team is something that is impactful, to our customers. And so we're going to put that as part of validation. We're going to add it in here, and then we're going to say, okay, for us, we're in the middle, this competitor is really high, and it's one of those things that you talk about in positioning of, is size of team impactful for the sales process and discussing? And then if it is, like, how do we understand where people are in the market? And so, again, I think we've tried to really make it easier for people to know what they should be comparing, put it in here, and then quickly develop this nice visualization of it.
And then what else can you do here in this competitor section? Because I know we have a few more tabs there.
Yeah, and what I figured I'd do is add a new one in here. So we're just doing this example, and again, you just quickly now have this new one in here. But what we talked about was visuals, really understanding, what is the visual portrayal of each of your competitors, and then being able to analyze that. And so created this really nice grid view, right, that allows that to happen. But then as you're doing new ones, you come in, you can capture their screenshot, and then it actually builds using AI some analysis of both design, what is the design analysis, the layout, how are they structuring the page, what is the analysis of the graphics, and then even into the topics and the content, and giving some sense of, what are the headlines and what are the tone of the page. And so this becomes a great tool in any web design process to really compare and contrast and have some instant AI analysis of it. And then what's great is that kind of expands. Once you've scanned the site, the tool comes in and helps you do content analysis even a little bit further. And so it'll pull out major headlines and topics from a page. That way you can see how different competitors are using language in what they do. And then even into performance, so that you can see what we talked about is, from an SEO perspective, something like speed and number of page elements, but then even the tools that they have installed to say, oh, wow, this competitor uses Segment or uses Intercom, or they use, Bing ads and HubSpot. Those are good things that might be really impactful for us to make decisions about our own marketing or whatever it might be. So I think this ability to really come in and have the high level view, get visual comparisons, and then analysis of content and design, then dig into content even further, and then look at performance, within a couple of minutes with AI, you can have all this at your fingertips to really help the entire team make some better decisions.
I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the entities there, where it shows all the different tools and things that are installed on all your competitors' sites, because then it moves into areas like channels. So you have a sense of where they might be or have advertised that, so on and so forth. What tools are they using? So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, even at this quick level, I see my, first three competitors have Bing ads. And if we're not doing Bing ads, are we missing something? And so, even within seconds, you might get some insight that says, okay, we have to be thinking about what our strategy is.
And you just made this all look so quick and simple and easy. Frictionless does that, but man, prior to this, I'm thinking of all the work just to compile, put this stuff, in spreadsheets and the screenshots, and then ranking and comparing, and just scraping, pulling that content, putting the summaries together, all of that. So if someone wants to go in, check this out. There is a trial. You can go in. There's a free version of Frictionless. You don't have access to the AI output. I think you have a couple of uses in there, but aside from that, you can go in and play around with it. So if you go to frictionlesshq.com, check it out. Really good stuff, Andy. Again, we continue the conversation. What I really love about this whole conversation, this series, is how each of these steps are so connected. And to the contrary, that could be the downfall, right? If you miss one of these areas, it could be a big setback. So we're going to continue down the path, and we will be going further next time. But this is how we look at competitor analysis, some of the things we pull, some of the things that we do. Hope you guys find it valuable, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everybody.
This episode of the Vision Gap Show has been brought to you by Frictionless. Build high-impact strategy at scale. Create your vision, brand position, and go-to-market strategy, all in a collaborative AI-enabled workspace. Visit frictionlesshq.com to create your free account today.